My Hotel, Grand Rising, Better Love. You are listening to the Truth to Power show, and I'm Beverly. And tonight we have a guest with us. We have Dr. Kia Pruitt with us, and she is a political analyst. She's an independent journalist. She writes and speaks on geopolitical and economics. She's also a professional life coach, an educator, and author. Dr. Pruitt has an educational background in economics and political and social science. She is the owner of Joyous Rising, a morning show where she highlights geopolitical and global financial news. Dr. Pruitt is also an independent trust advisor. She worked with Trust Estates Planning, LLC, and is an independent sales consultant with Miles Franklin, a precious metal company. And in her spare time, she enjoys reading, researching, writing, spending time with her children and 6 grandchildren. When she is not busy working or spending time with her family, she spends time relaxing in the sun on the beach. And you can find Dr. Kia Pruitt on all social media platforms. So let me bring our guests up. Then I'll bring my co-hostess up. Dr. Pruitt, thank you for joining us this evening.
Good evening. Thank you, sister. It's my great pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yes, ma'am. So, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, for sure. Now, I kind of gave the people a little of your bio here. And yes, so you were talking about NESARA, and I haven't heard about that in a while. Can you kind of tell people what is and what it is and what's going on with it?
Absolutely. Well, hello, family. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt, and it's an honor to be here. And so Sister Beverly asked me to talk a little bit about NESARA. NESARA, can everybody hear me well, Sister?
Yes.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can
hear
you. We can hear you.
Thank you. NESARA is the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, and the global version of that is the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. It was signed into law in the year 2000 underneath President Clinton. He was not happy about signing this into law. As a matter of fact, he was strongly encouraged to do so by the military. We call the white hats of the military, or the NESARA white hats, or white knights. This is the benevolent faction of the military because, as many of you know, the military-industrial complex has been operating as a terroristic group, terrorizing many countries. However, there was a faction of the military that decided that they wanted to fight for our freedoms and dismantle the group of nefarious powers that usurped our republic, our lawful government, from us. So those white hats of the military confronted President Clinton and told him that it was time for the people to be liberated, and they confronted him and told him to sign this act into law. He did sign it into law, and what that whole thing was about was actually the people being set free from taxes, and we the people having our sovereignty restored, our funds restored, our trusts that were created at birth. All those things were supposed to be restored under President Clinton. The backstory of where NESARA and GESARA came from actually was when a group of farmers took the United States government to court, to the World Court, And they took the Federal Reserve banking system to the World Court and said that these entities have usurped authority from our natural government, and they have forced us farmers, who are the backbone of this nation that feed the people, they have forced us to poison food. They have forced us to poison cattle, plant Monsanto seeds. And if we didn't do what they asked us to do, they would steal our land and or charge us exorbitant interest rates on loans. And if we stood up against the government or the central banking system underneath the Federal Reserve, then many of us have lost our lives, is what the banker said. So the World Court decided that the government, the United States Incorporated, along with the Federal Reserve, had indeed harmed the farmers, but not only the farmers, but people in America and all over the world. So they were told, the farmers were told, listen, we're going to dismantle this system that has oppressed people all over the world and oppressed you, the farmers. And when we finished dismantling, interrupt me anytime, sister.
I'm disagreeing with you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So they said, when we dismantle this system that has harmed the people in America and all over the world, the republic will have been restored, and at that time, we're going to return the Constitution to the people, and we're going to repay all the people for the suffering that they have endured. But the farmers, because you all brought the claim before us, you will be compensated first. So that was, I want to say that was like in the early 1990s. At least that's my understanding and overstanding. And so then at that point in time, then the White Hats of the military actually started gathering people and going after or taking down the systems of oppression that had usurped authority from our lawful government. And that is when they approached President Clinton and said, sign this into law or else. And he did sign it into law, but he did not want to. However, it was supposed to, the announcement, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, stating that we have been free, and there are like 17 or 18 principles or components, and whenever you tell me to, I can go into those. Those components were supposed to be implemented, and the announcement was supposed to come from the Pentagon actually on September the 11th, 2001. But we know what happened on 9/11. Instead of getting that announcement that the people would be free, that they would be liberated from debt, that we would have world peace, and all of our trust would be released so that we can finally have our prosperity, and humanitarian projects would be released. Instead of having that announcement to come from the Pentagon on 9/11, what happened was the gold that was supposed to be put forward to pay off all of our debt, the whole world debt, was taken out of the trade towers, the World Trade Towers.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You remember.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And remember, some people didn't show up for work.
Yeah.
Because they knew. They knew.
Yeah.
They knew what they were. They knew they were going to implode the towers, and that they were going to send some type of weapon or something into the Pentagon from which the announcement was supposed to come, so that we never had our liberty and prosperity. And
isn't that what the fight is going on today? It's still the battle, because they don't want to give it up. And okay, all right, go ahead.
They don't want to give it. Yes, ma'am, you're right. No, thank you for saying that. They do not want us to be free. However, they have to do it because the Creator is in charge, the White Hats of the military, they're in charge, as well as some very powerful interterrestrial and extraterrestrial beings that are from off-world or off-planet that are helping helping to liberate the humans or humanity.
Right.
Right. So, yes, ma'am.
Now, what part? Now, I know we got the military, I know that we have the which part. Do you know what percentage is white hats and what percentage is the other part that's really? And I know the CIA, the alphabets have been weaponized. Do you know what percentage of the military has been weaponized?
I don't know what percentage of the military has been weaponized, but I do know from the intel that's coming from the military is that most of the nefarious, bad beings, both non-human and human, have been eliminated off the planet, whether they've been taken out through portals or they've had to face military tribunals at Guantanamo Bay. Most of them are gone. So when you see certain presidents and certain, like those three-letter entities, when you see those actors still showing their faces, those aren't the real people. Not even the president and the vice president. They're not.
You can tell. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you look at some old pictures of Biden, and his eyes is colored different. You know, his eyes now. You know, and he walks different. He walks like a robot to me, and his eye colors is different. And you know, you could just tell. You could feel them. And they see it. They don't even, you know, you can feel that they're different here too. So
sometimes
they still. Go ahead, Doctor.
I was going to say sometimes you can see the computer generated imagery. You can see that there's a green screen because his hand might go through the microphone.
Yes. And I first saw it when he first got into so-called office. And he was supposed to have been sitting at the desk in the White House, and I looked behind him at the window and saw cars in the parking lot. I'm like, what? And all these years, I've been looking at them sitting in the Oval Office at the White House. There is no parking lot. It's trees and things is there. So, you know, it's just... it's interesting.
You're very observant because a lot of people have missed that. You know, we just we believe what we think our eyes are telling us is what's real. So you're very observant. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So what are they saying about NESARA now? You know, I know it's a fight going on right now because they have sleeper cells is still here, you know, or you know, who's blowing up these railways and things like that.
Yeah. So they do have some minions that are still, doing certain operations. Absolutely, the majority of them are gone, but you do have a few that are still here, and so that's why we need an emergency broadcast system announcement to alert the people of what's going on, because once you completely expose the dark, then they will have to stop, the minions that are left, because the people will have awakened.
Okay.
So, yes, ma'am. And what's interesting is that, thank you, that the Pope and the Vatican, who actually own the United States Incorporated, left a letter in July 4th, 2014. Actually, he submitted a letter to President Obama, who was the president at the time. And in that letter, he stated that our time is up. He said that the republic is the lawful government of the land, and that President Obama is not the president is not the president of America or the Republic of America. He is the president of the United States Incorporated, or the corporation. And what he was referring to was the fact that, you know, those bloodline families had taken power over from the people and created a corporate entity. And then your audience probably knows this, that they incorporated the United States Incorporated, which was a group of bloodline families. They incorporated in the state of Delaware in 1871, created their own laws and their own constitution called the Constitution of the United States Incorporated. And that corporation is actually registered in the state of Delaware as a nonprofit religious organization because it is owned by the Vatican. So since the United States Incorporated is owned by the Vatican, he had the authority to actually write this letter and say to the people, and Obama was supposed to read this letter, let the people know that, he had so the Vatican and the Pope had the power to tell us that this corporation is false, is not a real government. And he went on in the letter to say Obama must cease and desist from pretending to be the president. All three-letter organizations must cease and desist, the FBI, CIA, all those entities. CPS, they are unlawful. They have to cease and desist. He said the police officers must cease and desist, lawyers, judges, because they are beholden to the Crown, the British Accredited Registry, which is why they must pass the BAR, British Accredited Registry, which means that they don't have the best interest of the people at heart. They work for the Crown. So he said all these entities must cease and desist upon the reading of this letter because it's over for us. And if that doesn't happen, the Grand Army of the Republic will step in and take down the entire corporation. And that is what we're calling the white hats of the military. It was the military or the Grand Army of the Republic, the whole military, Marines, Army, all of them, Navy, but underneath the Grand Army of the Republic. So he had that authority, and although Obama did not read that letter, that was the signal to those of us who were looking for the signal, looking for the clues that the United States Corporation and those corporate entities or those bloodline families had their power was taken away from them. So it was already taken away from them at the moment that they spoke it, but they had to actually, complete the arrest.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes,
and a lot of people don't understand that. The canon laws. A lot of people not familiar with, and they are over the legal laws.
Okay.
So you're correct about the Pope. Mhm.
Mhm.
Wow,
what's interesting? What's interesting about the Pope is, I'm sure your audience knows this. A lot of people may not be aware, though, that he was over the whole so-called Holy Roman Empire, and many people think that the Roman Empire ended, but the United States Incorporated and that bloodline family that usurped our republic and republics or governments all over the world were actually like the pseudo or the new Roman Empire that really never was completely annihilated years ago or centuries ago. So we were still under the Roman Empire. So that's what gave the Pope the authority to write that letter on motu proprio on July 4th, 2014. And what was interesting to me is when you understand how they operate, they do things with signs and symbols. Mm-hmm. So when we just had the Super Bowl and the Eagles lost, then that was another signal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That the Roman Empire had been completely annihilated and decimated. They lost because the eagle is the national symbol of the Roman Empire. So all games or sports are rigged. And so when I found out that the Chiefs were playing against the Eagles, I knew the Chiefs would win only because we know it's our time. The Chiefs on the land are coming back to reclaim. Woo, I get excited. Their lawful government.
Yes.
And the Constitution for our republic. So we have our own Constitution for the Republic of America, the Constitution for the United States, and then there's a Constitution of the United States, of the bad, nefarious, of the United States incorporated and registered in Delaware. 4 is our lawful Constitution. The chiefs on the land, the indigenous people on the planet and in America have now risen to power. Now it is up to us to take that power as sovereign beings and do the right thing by the people.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I know I had pulled up the corporation. I had pulled up, and I saw China name on there too. So I don't know what China name had to do with it. The corporation part, not the republic. But I saw their name on there also. So I don't know what that was about.
Yes, ma'am, because a lot of our presidents that were in leadership in the United States actually sold us out to the Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party of China were a group of of family members and all those that were a part of it that actually took away freedoms from people, and they were buying up land all over America and different countries, and they had a military behind them, all that. They infiltrated every segment of our society. And your audience can actually see the former Secretary Pompeo speaking to the governors at the Governors Conference on February the 8th, 2020. And what he said was, I'm watching all of you governors, and I've seen you, because he was a former CIA director, so he was more than just a Secretary of State. And he said, I know how complicit you all, or many of you have been, with being in alignment with the Chinese Communist Party. You've allowed them to infiltrate the educational system here, the medical system. You've allowed them to infiltrate the media, entertainment, every segment of our society, such that now we are beholden to and enslaved to the Communist Party of China. And this is what President Trump kept trying to warn the people, but people didn't know, and people were easily persuaded by the media. They wanted to call him racist. But President Trump was actually selected by the White Hats of the military to work with Xi Jinping, as well as from China, as well as Vladimir Putin from Russia, and some of the powers in Zimbabwe. Those four leaders were selected to actually to be a part of the military operation to take down the deep state. So that's what President Trump kept saying. China has taken over our country. Corporations left our country and went to China and, set up factories. So now our cities are decimated because the people that were making a living from working in those factories and corporate entities and businesses, they lost their jobs because the presidents and leaders and governors sold out the states to the Chinese Communist Party, which is why you saw China involved with the corporation. They sold us out to China.
Oh, okay.
Not the benevolent faction, but the malevolent or the bad faction.
And and I saw that here. I'm here in Michigan, and and I saw that when they start leaving.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting. So what are they saying now as far as coming to the end point, coming to the accomplishment of the NESARA?
Okay. So
do you see this?
Yes, I can see. So we see it actually in action now. And is it okay if I just run through some of the points of NESARA, or you want me to hold off on that?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So under the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, or the global version being the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, you were supposed to, number one, zero out all credit card, mortgages, and bank debt. All over the world, we're supposed to have a cancellation of debt, because debt is slavery, and none of us were supposed to be enslaved. As a matter of fact, we all at birth had trust created for us, and we were supposed to have everything that we purchased, any education even that we had, any houses, it was supposed to come out of those or be attached to the trust. The trust was supposed to pay it off. But instead, unbeknownst to us, when they gave us loans unlawfully and we signed our signature, we were, unbeknownst to us again, giving them access to our trust. So we're like signing promissory notes and really like a power of attorney. And they will access our trust that way, pay themselves off through our trust whenever we got a loan, and then forced us to pay them again with interest. So because of that nefarious behavior, yes, ma'am, they're supposed to zero out all credit card, mortgages, bank loan debts. Secondly, they're supposed to abolish the income tax. Thirdly, abolish the IRS, and the only tax we're supposed to have is a 14% flat rate, non-essential, new items only tax. So, but the IRS income tax completely annihilated, it's supposed to be. Fourth, increase benefits to our senior citizens. Fifth, return us to constitutional law and return it to all of our courts and legal matters, because we're no longer on constitutional law. We are going by admiralty law or maritime law, which is attached to the United States Incorporated, that nefarious entity that usurped authority from our republic. Six, we're supposed to establish new presidential and congressional elections. Seventh, we're supposed to monitor elections and prevent illegal election activities of special interest groups. Eighth, we're supposed to create new United States currency, which we call the rainbow currency. And this new currency, or this, what we know as dollars, will be backed by gold, silver, platinum, and other precious metals. Ninth, NESARA and NESARA initiates new United States Treasury banking system that is going to be in alignment with constitutional law. So our whole banking system will be restructured. 10, is going to eliminate the Federal Reserve. 11, restore financial privacy. 12th point is retrain all judges and attorneys in constitutional law. The 13th point, it will cease all aggressive United States government military actions worldwide. The 14th point was to establish worldwide peace, so no wars. So for all my Christian friends listening, this is the 1,000 years of peace that the Christ, or I should say Revelation, spoke about. 15, it initiates. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
15, initiate the first phase of worldwide prosperity distribution of vast wealth. So vast funds are going to be ejected into the global economy to help with humanitarian projects. 17, we're going to have 16, again, was to release humanitarian funds. And then the next bullet point, to reduce the work hours week to 20 hours per week. And somebody just contacted me and said, Kia, in my state, they're now talking about reducing the work hour week to 20 hours. So they were like, I can see NESARA in my state happening. The next point is what a lot of people get excited about. And that is, it's supposed to give everybody over a certain age, some say about between 21, maybe 21, but the latest I've heard is people over 24 will receive tens of thousands per dollars per month into a quantum account or individuals' accounts that have been set up for each of us. Tens up to, some people say 10,000, but it'll be thousands per month for 11 years. Each put into our accounts in a non-interest-bearing account. So I've heard between 10,000 and 100,000. I don't know how much they're going to put in those accounts, but it's kind of like a universal basic income where everybody will just receive money in their account for 11 years. And even though we don't know how much exactly per month, some people say it'll be up to $20 million. That everybody will receive. And then lastly, I don't know if I said this, but we'll have new technologies released like the med bed technology and healing technologies, free energy, and all those technologies that have been given to us and by the Creator and by non-human beings, and even by human beings who are just very intelligent and gifted, but they have been suppressed by the government because they didn't want us to be cured. They don't want us to ascend to our highest self. They don't want us to be able to regrow our limbs and all these things that we could do, reverse in age. They didn't want us to be able to do that. But under NESARA and NESARA, we will see that happening. To your question, do we see any of that happen, or how soon? Sister, it is happening right now. We've had many people that come on my platform, there's another YouTuber by the name of Mark Z. There's a YouTuber by the name of, what's his name? Oh, gosh. Other YouTubers, Mel Carmine, and on my show, Dr. Kia Pruitt, people have come to us and told us, I've had my credit card debt paid off, and they've shown us the receipts, the proof. I owe the IRS. One of my good friends from Cleveland said, look, he showed me, I owed them $23,000. It says canceled. So people's mortgages have just said canceled. So we see that actually happening now. And as a matter of fact, with the second point about abolishing the income tax, I've spoken about this recently too, that the Republicans have stated since the beginning of the year that they passed a bill to abolish the IRS and that they were going to vote on it very soon. They already defunded them $80 billion that the Democrats had given the IRS to hire criminal investigators that were. Right. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. But go ahead, tell the people.
So the IRS had hired criminal investigators, CIs is what they call them, hired them to shoot and delete us. I'm trying not to say the KILL word. They were trained to pick us off.
You can say we're not, you can say what you need to say. We're not on YouTube.
We're not censored or monitored. Yeah, so they were giving Sister $80 billion to train these criminal investigators to kill Americans who didn't pay their taxes or who didn't pay the taxes that they thought should be paid. So the Republicans defunded them, and they also said that they were going to vote on the bill. The bill to abolish the IRS was House Resolution 25 that came from a Georgian Republican in 2018 under number 45. A lot of these resolutions were under 45 or President Trump because, again, he was put in charge to take down the deep state. But then the bill was reintroduced recently. So we're going to see the IRS be dismantled, which is why they are telling millions of Americans to hold off on filing your taxes. And I have the article. Anything that you need me to send you proof of, I'll send that to you.
I'm familiar. A lot of people don't know that, there's two. There's the Internal Revenue and there's the IRS, that there's two different entities.
I see. Wow. And it's interesting that when she mentioned that they also, so there was the House resolution to take down the IRS, and then there was the House resolution to take down the Federal Reserve. That was House H.R. 24. So under President Trump, what he did was he put the duties of the IRS, the benevolent part of it, and any whatever that is, and the duties of the Federal Reserve, he put them under the United States Treasury Department. So what I'm saying is a lot of the NESARA components are actually happening now through House resolutions that have been introduced. Even those rainbow currency that's supposed to come out that's backed by gold, that's supposed to be backed by gold, we saw many countries drop. And see, most people don't know this because mainstream media does not report it. But we've seen countries drop the United States dollar for trade and say, we're no longer trading with the United States dollar. We are trading gold. We're trading oil for gold. We're going to use gold now as money. And I don't know if your audience is familiar with that, but Putin was the trigger when 46. I'm so used to speaking in codes. When Biden.
You don't have to speak in code.
Because you say certain things. Oh my God!
I know. Yeah, I know how they are.
Mm-hmm. So when Putin went to Ukraine to clean it out because of all the trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, all that was going on, it was a cesspool over there in the Ukraine. He went over there to clean it out. Of course, the mainstream media tried to spin the story. The Ukrainians were actually on their social media platform saying, no, we're happy that this is happening. We're tired of being under these tyrants. And as a matter of fact, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm in Florida now, but in Cleveland, the whole downtown is owned by the Ukrainian mafia. And you can even look that up, and it'll tell you. It's interesting.
Right.
But when Putin went over there to clean it up, President Biden put sanctions on him and tried to restrain him, but his response to that, Putin's response, was to drop the United States dollar and go toward his own currency, which is the Russian ruble, backed by gold, and use gold for trade. And when he did that, he led the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, to that whole union. He led all of them to leave the United States dollar for trade. And that hurt the United States dollar, decimated it, and made it decrease in value even more than it had been. And then Saudi Arabia dropped the United States dollar. And that was monumental, because what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with the Saudi Empire that they give us the oil and we'll protect their Saudi kingdom and force every other country in the world to use the United States dollar for trade, in exchange for oil. So that was which made us the superpower and have the hegemony and the world power, the world reserve currency, the leaders, so to speak, of the world. And we would force them by war or by sanctions to do whatever we said. But when Saudi Arabia said, you know what, we're done with this, we're not going to use the United States dollar at all anymore, that ended United States hegemony. That ended our power as being the tyrants that could control the whole world, because what gave us that power was our agreement with Saudi Arabia, and that's what made us have the world reserve currency. And then after Saudi Arabia joined BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, then all these countries just one by one left the United States dollar now we're at the point where every exporting nation have dropped the United States dollar. And sister, people would not, I don't know why, I could not get people to admit that the world was returning to the gold standard. It's like it was a bad thing. I would bring people, economists on a platform, you know what I'm saying? People in government, people over people groups that's supposed to be working on our behalf, just say it.
Right.
Telling people what it is. We're being set free. Maybe they didn't know. But now an article finally came out after years of, people like you and me saying we're going to return to world peace and the gold standard. Now an article came out that says the world is hurtling back towards gold, and we'll use gold as money.
Yeah. And what it was, it's the bankers was in control of everything, since since the 30s. And so they're kicking them bankers out because, they're the one that, and people don't understand, that the dollar bill is a note. They don't understand that's a promissory note. That's not money. But people are starting to understand it now. I have people that have their hands raised. They want to talk with you.
Okay.
But first I'm going to bring go ahead.
One last thing is that the United States is now 42 states repealed the taxes on precious metals. So they're removing taxes from precious metals. 42 states actually passed legislation, and then five of the remaining states now have legislation on the table. So almost all the states have removed taxes from the sale of precious metals, which they will release precious metals in America to be used as legal tender and or lawful money. So the whole world is returning to the gold standard. It's not just those nations that have dropped the United States dollar. So while our eye sees that the USD, the fiat dollar, that note you're talking about has lost its power, it's lost almost 100% of its purchasing power, behind the scenes there has been gold that has been put forward, even in America, to pay off the debt and to back the new currency. So NESARA is actually happening. Right now, we're living in it in real time, but the mainstream media just won't report it yet. But, okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're definitely correct. And so so I'm going to open up the lines. But first, on Fridays, I have 2 elders that joins me every Friday. So I'm going to let them in first, and then I'll open up the lines to others here. Okay, let's see. Where are they at here? Okay, Elder Ray and Elder Tyreek, you're live.
And thankful.
Can y'all hear me?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you so much, Bev, for this. And Sister Pruitt, thank you. Yes. Thank you. You've made some things very clear that have been kind of muddled along the way. We started a drum call back in 2020. A drum call to change the mindsets of the people, the thought pattern, and it's working. And we just thank you for exposing this, and hope that the people will understand what you're saying and follow the directions that you've given us, because a lot of folks are stressing out over the conditions that we're in. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for your wisdom that you've shared through the years. And I give honor to you and all the other elders and bow before you in honor and reverence. Thank you so much.
I, too, Dr. Pruitt, one of my favorite people in all the world. This is Brother Elder Tariq here. And, you were just brilliant in your presentation, because you verified all of the things that I have been presenting on both this show and on a previous show on to Blog Talk Radio since 2019. The thing you told us about Mike Pompeo, for example, that is so important, because not only was he doing what he did as far as all those entities you spoke of, he told the people that this was a live exercise we were going through, and the last 3 years is proof of this military, industrial, medical complex and their tyranny over the people. And they have now literally gotten most of the population becoming hypoxic robots because of their mask wearing and their nonsensical understanding of their basic physiology. And I really think that you were so awesome in presenting the motu proprio and the Pope and how the so-called Vatican, which is called something else, I believe, and they also sing praise to Lucifer every Sunday in the Vatican today, even. They open their services with a tribute to Lucifer. I mean, it's so amazing that we don't know these things, and here it is 2023, and it is like somehow we have been we have been trained, and we have been Project Monarched, we have been Operation Paperclip, Operation Mockingbird, that is the Nazi transfer into this land, and it is therefore we have these entities over us, and of course this was because the Nazis were so well connected with the off-world people and some weird entities down in Antarctica. So the history, the story we must know, because if we don't know the background, the story, why this is, then we cannot understand what's happened to us, because most people don't want to believe anything they hear, because the internet now has everybody, sort of whipping away anything anybody says about the internet, because that's just internet stuff, and that doesn't really.
It's like we're all conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I call it piracy. See, I call it conspiracy, and that's what they're doing. They're doing that to us, and then we're called conspiracy theorists. You see, that's what they call projection by the Nazis. Okay. That's the way they were able to control the Germans. They were able to. That's how they did. Yeah. Because from 1933 to 1936, you remember that the German state declared bankruptcy in 1933, along with the United States, Britain, France, and 10 countries altogether that were a part of the Geneva Convention. So all of these countries have been operating in reorganization, Chapter 11, bankruptcy, since then, and have reorganized 4 times. At least the United States has reorganized for the 4th time and are no longer in existence. They are dissolved according to bankruptcy law. Have you heard anything about this?
Yes, sir.
You know about this?
I've heard about the bankruptcy law, but I didn't hear about it in detail the way you're explaining it. So I'm very appreciative.
Well, thank you. I had some deep studies on this issue, both here and abroad, and I was fortunate enough to reside over there in Scandinavia and Sweden, and traveled extensively through Western Europe, or Europa, excuse me. Remember, the subcontinent that we call Europe is not that name. That name is Europa, and it's named after y'all, the melanated sisters of the planet, the goddess of Macedonia, Europa. That's what the continent's named after, not Europe. See, and that's a very important thing. Women have to take back their power from and get back to our matriarchal balance, because if we don't get that together, I mean, we're going to lose it. I mean, that's not going to happen. See, so I'm a real promoter of this, because this is wellness essentials, folks. If we're going to be well and we're going to exist, we better get with our women. We better balance this thing out. We better learn our story. We better know the power of our women who, for example, Sacagawea, who helped with Brother York lead the what do you call him, Lewis and Clark spy expedition across from the Mississippi to the Oregon coast and back. Now, they zigzagged both ways, and they met hundreds of our people from that coast all the way to Mississippi and back. Now, what did they say about that trip? Well, Mr. Lewis wrote that wherever they went west of the Mississippi, they found the spiral-haired people in charge, not the stringy-haired ones that were sent to greet them, unquote. Now, why isn't it we haven't learned that in school? Or why don't we teach our children that, so we know who we are here in this land? This is our land, folks. Go to the Grand Canyon and see if you can see more than 1/10 of it, because the military is controlling it. So these are some of the things that I've been trying to get into our people's heads, that, we are from here, and we are mixed up with all manner of folk because of the colonizing of the population. And I mention it that way because in order to colonize people, you have to colonize them. You have to change their entire gut. You see, because that's what happens when people are invaded and taken over. They lose their internal fortitude, their intestinal fortitude to keep them alive. And and then therefore when filth comes into the body, they lose it and they die. We see this all throughout the world where these creatures came from, and this is what they've done. So I just try to put this forth so that people know who they are, know the story, and therefore you can do something about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you again. Love you.
Thank you, Elder. I'm going to open up another line here. 708-829.
Greetings, peace, and much love, family. How's everybody doing this evening?
Great, Eddie. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful, listening to this sister. My sister, first of all, I must tell you, you just filled in so many gaps. So many gaps. And I really appreciate that. And I love you for that. Thank you as I thank us. And let me do what I do best. I'm a numerologist. And a metaphysician. So I like to start with you.
Okay, I'm listening.
You brought me in since you was using the number 45, and then you went to 46. I know exactly what you're talking about, but your number, first name Kara, is a 9.
Right.
And your last name, Pratt, comes to 33. 9 plus 33.
Wrong name, man.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but your first and last name comes to 4. Okay. It comes to 4. It comes to 42, which is a 6. If you notice, it's no coincidence that you're on Sister Bev Show tonight because today's date is the 24th. It just flipped your number around. The whole month, date, and year still comes to a 6 today. And I was just introduced to you Monday from a very good friend by way of a show that you did with a brother Dave, a.k.a. The Lion.
Yes.
And, yes. And it really got me because, again, your number being 42 or 6, he was talking about that, dealing with where you have to go and sit in this room and you were going to be judged by your heart. Well, heart is 24.
Wow.
And it took me to our ancient story of the trial by feather, where in my eye, your heart is measured by the feather.
Yes.
Before you go on to the next stage, here or the afterlife. So when I saw your number and how everything, because again, looking and listening to you, you have a lot of passion. Passion is 24. You touched me, so I know you touch a lot of people. Touch is 24. You've been talking about goal tonight. Goal is 15, which is 6. 1 plus 5 is 6.
Right.
So you are doing is right on target with your number. And like I said, I love and appreciate it because you are helping our people to deprogram from the program. By the way, program is 24, which is 6. Deprogram is 33, which is 6. You have been giving the word is 15, to help balance 15. And this time in space called Aquarius, a.k.a. the third horseman. And the third horseman came with a balance in his hand. You are balancing the people with what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
I appreciate that, my sister. Much love. Much love.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Wow, you just totally affirmed me. That feels good. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Now, also, you are dealing with precious metals, or tell us about that. What are you doing?
I am an affiliate with Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company. So I'm an independent sales consultant. So what I do is I refer people to Miles Franklin because I'm an affiliate if they desire to add gold or silver to their portfolio. But the reason why I do that, and many people have asked me to be an affiliate or sell their product, and I respect that. I just haven't given anybody an affirmative answer except for Andy Sheckman of Miles Franklin, because for me, precious metals equates to wealth. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people, particularly people classified as black, I should say, have not been historically, maybe not in my lifetime, trained to acquire wealth and pass it on to our future generations. So I'm very passionate about talking about silver and gold and how that's real money, but not just because it's real money. More than that, because I feel and know in my heart that those metals help us to ascend in consciousness. They clean out our chakras or our energy centers. They also are healing. We have silver components in our brain, silver receptors in our brain. They're precious for a reason, and I believe the reason why precious metals were taken away from us is not because it's considered money or God's money, or it's been money from eons of time, but those precious metals really do something to your body and your spirit. When you're sick, you can put metals on your body. For example, copper. Doctors will even tell you if you have joint pain to wear copper bracelets or put copper around your knee joints or wear copper bracelets, anklets, because they heal you. Silver, when you're down in your emotions, you could place silver on your body. I sometimes put it on my heart area, or just anywhere on my body. I'll put a silver coin sometime, or I put it underneath my pillow, or I lay on it. You can actually feel your vibration raise. You can actually feel your mood increase. So this is why I'm so passionate about silver and gold, precious metals. Additionally, during the coronavirus, the reason why they called it corona was because it was a banking code word. The bankers were talking to each other saying we're going to a golden age. Gold, so corona actually means crown. That is the literal translation, or when you do the etymology of the word, it means crown. So when you speak of corona, they were saying the crown chakra of the people, the crown is being activated. The people are ascending in consciousness. So they kept using that word corona, coronavirus, and then notice later on they changed it to call it COVID. They stopped using corona. Right. But it was a whole, yes, sir. So it was coded word, coded language, which is why I'm so passionate about it. So every opportunity I get, I tell people, if you can, get precious metals. It's good to have in your possession. It feels good. It raises the frequency of your home, your family, your mood. It heals you. It increases your so-called psychic powers. I mean, it's just, I get chills talking about it. It's a blessing that the Creator has given us these precious metals. They're precious. They mean a lot. In fact, if you read the Sumerian text, the text that predated the Bible, they actually talked about how a group of beings, the Anunnaki, came to the planet to take the gold and cause those people, those humans that predated us actually, to mine the gold so that they could take gold to the planet Nibiru from which they came and cure their environment and cure their atmosphere, heal their atmosphere, raise the vibration of their atmosphere. This is how powerful precious metals are. So even if gold is not in your budget, you can, like some people say, well, an ounce of gold costs like $1,800 per ounce. Well, you can get a half an ounce, you can get a quarter, you can get an eighth, you can get a gram. You can do whatever you put in your mind that you can do. You can afford what you say you can afford and put your mind to it. Just like people can afford to smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol and get their hair did and their nails did, as we say in the hood.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
You can put your money together. You know what I'm saying? You can get gold Arum notes, which only cost $3.95 to $6. Gold Arum notes is 24-karat gold pressed on a note. You can get silver. Silver is even more valuable, they say, than gold, because there's more silver. There's more gold on the above ground than silver. And silver, yes, ma'am, silver is used for technology. Silver is used for industrial purposes. It's silver is used in your computer, your phone, your catalytic converter, your refrigerator, your stove, everything. Your washer and dryer. You know, this is why all these companies would be like, oh, yeah, just give us your silver, give us your gold. We'll take it. We'll give you this dirty fiat notes, this debt notes in exchange for it, because they know the value of these precious metals. So I always say the scripture and I always say for my Christian friends and family members, because I want to make sure we include everybody. But those of us who grew up in a Christian tradition, we know that the scripture says, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. The rest of that scripture says, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. So we always focus on the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, and a lot of times we just wait for the wicked to die. Oh, God's going to restore me. And I think that's wonderful, because actually the nefarious beings that are being taken down, their assets were frozen under Executive Order 138-18, and there were other executive orders as well under President 45, Donald Trump. So in his executive orders, he said anybody dealing with human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, or any crimes against humanity will be judged, and all their assets will be frozen. When those assets were frozen, they went right into the trust, and they're going to be redistributed to we the people. So that part of the scripture is true. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, and we will receive that. The first part of that is a wise man, we can add woman too, but the scripture says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And the issue that I've seen in a lot of our communities is while we're planning for the weekend, we're going to kick it this weekend. We're going to get our hair done this weekend. Girl, what you going to do tomorrow? We're planning for tomorrow and the weekend when you have whole bloodline families that are planning hundreds and thousands of years ahead of time. We kicking it, sexing, carousing, being entertained, drugging, drinking, chilling, kicking it, having babies all over the place that we don't take care of. You know what I'm saying? We just chilling, blaming the white man and everybody for our issues instead of taking accountability for our own lives and living as the scripture has instructed us to be righteous, to be perfect, even as I am perfect, the scripture says, and to store up wealth, leave an inheritance for your children's children. The basic foundational principle of wealth building is marriage. Whether you do it through the legal court or you do it through your own law, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about, historically. But we can't even build wealth because we're too busy out here being victims and blaming everybody for our condition rather than standing on our square, on our own 2 feet, taking accountability for our own lives as the gods and goddesses we are. And the scripture says, no, we are God. Ma'am? Yes. Stand in our authority and our power and taking control, sovereignty, walking as sovereign things. Sovereign means, sov means over. Reign means control. Take control of your own life and follow. Look at what other people are doing. They are storing up wealth and leaving it for these people have gold, they have silver, palladium, platinum. And the way they do it is they start off through marriage, and they align themselves with somebody who sees the vision, has the same vision, and then they work together synergistically and build a foundation and raise their children you know, and with certain values and principles, and everybody have their own roles. You know, now we're fighting about, well, I'm the woman. I hate men, and I don't need a man. I could do whatever I want to do. And look, it has destroyed our community.
Get them. That's right.
Everybody else is thriving, but you know what? They've had this critical race theory stuff, this racism. You're black. They're lying because you're not black. We know that here. We're not. This is our land. You're not black. Most of us didn't come from a slave ship. Well, I'm sick in the slavery movies, all that. We just buy into it, and all that with propaganda now becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and we don't even store up wealth for our future generations because we don't have a vision, we don't have a mission, we don't have marriage, we don't respect one another, you know. So this is my whole thesis is that we've got to get the family together first, because the healthy families build healthy communities, which build healthy societies. The foundation is the family. So when we can start coming together as families, yes, it does start with self-love and then family. When we can come together and do that, then we can then build from there, pass down values, and leave an inheritance for our children's children like the Bible instructed. This is one of the reasons why I'm very passionate about gold and silver, because right now silver is probably like $23, $22 an ounce. And if we can't come up with $22, $23 an ounce to have store up some wealth for our children, then I'm going to ask, why in the world do we have money to go and kick it and we can upgrade cell phones? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we gotta get better. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. I'm just so passionate about this because when you look at how everybody else is faring, sisters and brothers, in America, so-called black people, we Aboriginal, indigenous, original people of the United Nations declared so-called black Americans to be the oldest Aboriginal people on the planet.
Yeah.
On the planet.
On the planet.
Hey.
And yet we're at the bottom. And I don't blame nobody for that, because we are God's, and it's our responsibility to take control and do what we need to do to restore the family and leave an inheritance for our posterity.
Sister Dr. Pruitt, you just did it again. I mean, it is just so beautiful to hear you repeat what I've been attempting for the last 35, 40 years on this the basics of wellness and the essentials that we have to be dealing with as a family. And if we're not doing that, where can we go? We can go nowhere. That's right. You cannot call yourself an adjective, because an adjective, there's no such a thing as an adjective in law. And we are under our law. All law is our law. We the ones, Muslim customary law, our ancient customary law, of the ancient indigenous people, the oldest people on the planet according to the United Nations, UNESCO. And so, we have all of this going for us, yet we don't, we're slow at getting things, moving things in the direction that is going to benefit our freedom, instead of falling into self-loathing and eating ourselves into oblivion because we're not free. We have to now, because now the prices on eggs, for example, I know you've seen that happening. The prices on eggs out here are, for example, you have to pay $6, $7, $8 a dozen of eggs.
I remember when it was like 79 cents.
Exactly. I came up in the 50s, so I know, all that was cents back then, cents, not dollars. And and it's just so pathetic. We don't have that connection to our elders and the ones who could show you the way, who showed us all the way. Those of us who woke up and saw it, a lot of us didn't make it through most of the people my age that I came up with are dead. And, that's because, I could see it clearly back in the day when I went to UCLA. And I was a bid whist player with Marilyn McCoo. We were bid whist partners at UCLA back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, and now you see these people, and she is taking beautiful care of herself as well as her husband, and so when you see them, they are the epitome of what we're supposed to be, family, and this kind of thing, and we had so many great artists, actors, sports people, comics, Dick Gregory, for example, Richard Pryor, so many great people who have actually given us, remedies, showing us the way to do things, but many of us were not listening, unfortunately. We're busy doing the things you mentioned here earlier about we can find all the money we need to do all the things we want to do, but then to do the things we're supposed to do, we can't find nothing for that. That's the pathetic thing that I see. And so now, today, we have the culmination of the Rockefeller memo from 2010, which literally describes everything we've gone through the past 3 years. And they're saying that they may unleash, if things do not work out in their benefit and to their benefit, they may unleash a virus that's going to kill 30% of the population.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I'm seeing all of these things that is happening, but then what it's also doing is taking us out of our zone, and it's making us come up with remedies. It's making us stronger. Those that's not giving in to it, and when you in a war kind of situation, you're going to have casualties, as they say, casualties. I can't say that good. But, so to me, I mean, wherever there's, my philosophy is, wherever there is a problem, the solution is right there. You got the yin and the yang, the plus and the minus, and it's right there.
Come on, tell us.
Right.
That's y'all. That's the way it is. I know.
Have you heard, family?
What I'm also hearing is, if we are the problem, then we are the solution. And what I'm hearing, and what I'm hearing tonight, I'm hearing the solutions to our problems if we will open our eyes, our ears, and our hearts, and our minds to hear what's being said to us. And I think, like I said earlier, you're right on time, sis, and I just can't thank you enough. You are right on time, and the folk are waking up, and they're hearing you. Keep doing what you do.
Yep, exactly. Yep, awesome. Awesome.
Can I be heard, family?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I appreciate it. And again, love you so much. My sister, yes, and right quick, love is 14, which is the 5, and the family knows I'm always using the phrase, I got 5 on it, because that phrase actually comes up to the number 41, and 4 plus 1 is 5. But just you hit me so much at heart when you talked about the coronavirus. See, because corona, as you said, is that crown. But you said the key word for me was the key number. You said it's the code. Code comes to 14, which is 5. Corona comes to 14, which is 5. I don't care if they add something to it, it doesn't change the number. They called it coronavirus. You add 27 onto 14, you got 41. It's still the 5. So you mentioned also, I forgot to mention earlier, Bill is 11 and Clinton is 21. 11 plus 21 is 32, the 5. And it was in 2000 that this bill was signed.
That's right.
And it didn't It took all the way to 2023. 23, that's another 5. Before all this stuff that you're talking about is now being revealed. And by the way, reveal is 23 to 5.
Exactly. Woo, get a minute.
So we got to watch this because even for the Christian family, once they understand the ending is 23. It's a mindset that we've been given by what is called the Freemasons, 32. Ending is 23. And the Christians who are looking for Jesus Christ, understanding that the Christ is within inside them. Because Jesus Christ comes to 59, 5 plus 9 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. I got 5 on it. See? This is a game that the Freemasons set up way back in 1776. If you add 1776, you got 21, which is a 3. And it was July 11, 7-4 is a 2. There's your 2, 3. Freemasons is 32.
Wow.
See, so I can continue with the 5 because we all get 5 on it because it's in the atmosphere. Atmosphere is 41. It's in the wind. Wind is 14 because we are carrying the current. Current is 32 because we are the main event. An event is 23. And I'm going to leave with that because I constantly love you. And this is Brother Eddie because Eddie is 23 too, so I'm on my job by the number. Love you, family. Love you, Brother Eddie. Thank you.
Indeed, it's so awesome.
And so people that want to, get some precious metals, how do they get it through you?
Oh, right now our interactive website is not fully operating. So what people have been doing is send an email to Miles Franklin, but you have to send an email info, INFO, at milesfranklin.com. And the way you spell Miles Franklin is MILESFRANKLIN. So it's info at milesfranklin.com. You let them know that you're interested, and they will send you a list of inventory, what is in stock and prices, and then you can let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, and Andy has promised that our audience, he will give the best prices in the industry. And for all those that don't know Andy, you can look him up. He's been the CEO of Miles Franklin for 34 years now this year. He started the business at 19 with his dad. And they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've never had one complaint. They are now at 8. They've approached $8 billion in sales, and they have a very good reputation for customer service. All of his brokers, some of which I know I've met, are either family members of his or he's been to school with. So, again, you would just email him, info at milesfranklin.com. You could just say Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, or you can use promo code Dr. Kia Pruitt, and they promise you to give you the best customer service and the best prices. And I've searched. This is before I even became an affiliate. I wanted to see if it was true that he had the best prices. And so I shopped with, I looked at AppMax, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, all the ones I could find, Great American Coin Company, and I did find that he has the best prices in the industry.
Research.
Oh.
Yes.
And you know what? And also, go ahead.
I was going to say, sister, you probably going to say the same thing. Although I'm an affiliate with Miles Franklin, I strongly encourage people to check their local community to see if there is a coin shop or coin dealer in your community or in your city. Because that way, if you shop right there, you're establishing a relationship with somebody right in your city. You can always exchange metals later if you ever need to. And, then it's just a good thing to know all the business people in your community and learn how to barter with them. Also, you could take the silver and the gold or whatever metals, you copper, whatever you played in platinum, you could get it in your own possession that day and take it home with you. So I encourage everybody to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I got a lot of my silver from, the little shop in the community. And you can also go to the pawn shops, too, because they have them also. You get a good deal. Now, you also deal with trusts, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I was trained to be a trust advisor, and I love the whole concept of trust because it protects your wealth and your assets.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm a little hesitant about is all trusts right now that are created are actually attached. They have an EIN number, which is attached to the IRS. So, even so-called common law trusts, a lot of my friends that say, well, they deal with it, can help you with a common law. It's still the trust is still attached to an EIN number.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
If you feel like
you're attached to the corporation.
Exactly.
Now, the government. Go ahead.
Yes, and I do understand. Like I created a trust too a couple years ago, and it's protecting your assets. It's good because if you decide, if you pass on or transition or die, as some people call it, whatever assets you have in a trust, the trust is just a living document that holds and manages your assets. But those assets will go to whoever you leave it to, whereas it's different from a will because a will has to go through probate. So a will, it does no guarantee that your assets will go to your family members. It has to go through probate. It has to go through a court process first. It's lengthy. It could be lengthy. It could be expensive. All the fees will come out of your estate. The devil is a lie. I'd rather live in a private and have a trust.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I create a trust, but it's just that now that we're moving to a new system, some people are choosing, and I respect that too, to wait until, that we go back to common law, which we can see is about to happen with the Republicans saying they're about to vote out the IRS, and the IRS is now telling millions of Americans in over 22 states, don't even file your taxes because they know that the federal. You guys probably know the federal building, the IRS, is empty now.
Empty, yeah. Sister Grace, the lady going around the lady going around with the camera, showing us.
Yes, sir.
And I heard that the White House too, didn't they put a fence around that? Because we had people that live in D.C. They went and checked it out and told us that there was nobody in the White House.
That's right. They're doing it from.
I love it. I love that you have boots on the ground. I just love it.
Right. Gotta have. Yeah. And here's another thing, folks. I found out today that there's a lot of graphene and graphene oxide in the water and in the air. So if you don't have at least an air purifier in your bedroom where you sleep, and you don't have a drinking water system that is not made of graphene oxide or does not contain that, and you're setting yourself up for an early demise because these are highly toxic substances, and then they are mixing with so many other elements that we're being bombarded with on a daily basis. And Time Magazine in 1985 told us the poisoning of America, toxic waste. Anybody can go see the cover of this magazine and read the editorial statement therein and see how deadly this situation is. So this is essential, and the best solution there is, and I have this for 40 years. I've been using it, drinking it, nothing else for all these for the last 40-some years, and I can guarantee you that my mother did until she was poisoned to death and shut down in the old folks' home where she couldn't go out, and she passed on, but at 99. But she was on that water. She's been on that water as long as I have, and so the proof is in the testing, folks. This company has spent millions testing this product and proving its value. Multipure.com. Go check it out. and get yourself an air purifier so you're at least breathing clean air while you're sleeping. All right, peace.
So we can go to multi, pure.com.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what can we get from there?
You get a drinking system, the best drinking water system there is, with a lifetime warranty. Nobody offers that in the business. And you get a 90-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. So, it's trying it out. I would have it. That's one of the first things I would have, and I have two of them. I have one that I have in my bug-out bag and in my car, because I know that that's going to happen soon, and we're going to have to get water. Otherwise, we're going to die. So, water is the key, folks. That's the key to health and wellness. And if you don't get it, I can't tell you. We're on a water planet.
Well, they just attacked the water with the Ohio when they just blew up the train.
Pennsylvania.
The water and the air, and what they say, what goes up must come down. So we really need the purifying water at this point. Now, getting back to the trust, can you kind of explain to the people about, birth certificate, the bonds, and things that we are in trust and don't even know that we are in trust?
Yeah, I can share what I know, and then I'll probably need some of you elders to jump in, because I'm sure you've been studying this a lot longer than I.
They do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Did somebody else want to speak?
Thank you, guys.
No, you start. Well, you start off, and then they'll jump in.
Okay. What I understand and understand is that when each of us were born, there used to be a time where family members would record your birth in the Bible. And I do remember having the family Bible and seeing births, baptisms, and marriages, and even deaths recorded in the family Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, what happened was they had a birth certificate, which they had the mom to sign, and I don't want to say understand, but my limited understanding is that when a mother was signed a birth certificate, she was, unbeknownst to her, turning over the child to become a ward of the state, or the state becoming a guardian of the child. And then that birth certificate was turned into, and then the birth certificate was turned into a bond and then traded on the New York Stock Exchange as if we were chattel slaves at birth and accruing interest. And allegedly, that money was supposed to go into a trust. Now, I don't know how we were supposed to access that birth certificate bond, but we never really had the freedom to actually access that bond. But so my understanding is it's still it's accruing money as it's been exchanged on the New York Stock Exchange, and that's all I know about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I was, I know you know about trust, and so that's what they did, and some people have been able to tap into their trust here, but
I know it's Treasury Direct. TreasuryDirect.com, I think. You can actually how much you're allegedly worth. And your bond.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it matures after 30 years, I think. And it matures after 30 years, and you're supposed to be able to access it. As a matter of fact, President Trump, and I can show you that. I can send you that article too, sister. He came out not too long ago, right? I think it was like at the end of his term, and said there is no deadline on when you can exchange your what would he say? Cash in your bond, a savings bond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, wow, maybe he's sending us a clue that we're going to be able to cash in our birth certificate bond.
And some people are doing that. They are, and then a lot of people don't understand that your Social Security card is a credit card. And so people are finding out how to tap into that also. Let's see, we have a question. We have a question here. It's a question to the doctor. At what point were we handed over to British rule versus the World Bank?
Well, British rule has been demolished, and that was done when President Trump actually went to meet the Queen before she died. He went over there and he met with her, and they still have videos online where she actually ushered him in front of her, and that's something that never happened, where anybody walks in front of the Queen, and that was a symbol and a clue that he was taking power away from her.
That's right. Ooh, yeah. Got it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw it.
Yep. So awesome.
And then it said, and also, go ahead.
Then he went and inspected the guard, which is something that that was so far out of order. And the guard that was on her lawn was the United States military.
Yeah, exactly. Not. Not that.
Right.
And also, they wanted to know: are the House of Lords living off the interest of the CUSIP number? Familiar with that?
I don't know.
House of Lords?
Okay. Yeah, Elder Tariq. They wanted to know: is the House of Lords living off the interest of the CUSIP number?
Absolutely. They are the ones behind are together exactly with the Rothschild City of London, or City of London, as I call it. Excuse my French, but anyway, they all work together because the Rothschild family had 5 sons in 5 places. They financed the Chinese Revolution under Mao and them. They financed. They financed every war, and Kuhn and Loeb, for example, they financed the Nazi Party from 1933 to 1936 to get all that military technology they got in order to start invading and bombing, etc. So, this is all, every war is a banker's war, y'all. And all these wars that this country is constantly in, permanent warfare, 480 bases out, or 780 bases out in the world, that has come to a halt. I mean, we got to know that who's paying? What are they living off of? The money is no longer. The company is out of business, dissolved. The corporation is dissolved. What's going on? Where's all the money coming from? How are they getting paid? See, how is this being operating? To me, it's nothing but days of our lives and as the world turns, because that's what we're living in, a full-on fantasy world, Hollywood style. Yeah, Hollywood style. Yeah. So I'm so elated to hear you break it down and back me up in so much of what I've been teaching all these years since the 90s, when I came back here and really found out that we've been sorely lied to about who we are, and I started finding out my own family heritage, and it is called heritage, not heritage. So yeah, and I was living abroad and had to find out that I didn't speak English and I didn't know what I was talking about, and I went to school all those years for nothing, because what I was taught is a lot of BS, and I had to literally go back to school like a fourth grader, a fifth grader, and pick it up, and then learn the language, and then learn the foreign language as well, and from that experience alone tells you that what you thought you knew and what you thought is just a big bunch of hooey, and you have to know, you have to go find out for yourself. You cannot just wait around and expect it's going to fly in your pocket.
I have someone else have their hands raised here. 810-358.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone on the panel.
Greetings, Eric.
Y'all light me up over here. Light me up. Dr. Pruitt, you so smooth. You laying golden eggs. You said you could remember when eggs was 79 cents. Ain't 79 the symbol for gold on the periodic table?
Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome to the mound table. And then Jesus. Let's talk about Yeshua and Pisces, the two fish. Pi, or pi is 314, but twice is 618. 618 is a number, the symbol for gold. Ain't that right?
Right.
618. 618. Now check this out. They approached Yeshua and they said, "Hey man, what about paying taxes?" I can imagine him kind of laughing. He chuckled a little bit. He said, "Y'all need to go watch the movie I'm Going to Get You, Sucker." And look at the brother get out of jail with the goldfish under his shoes. The goldfish. Now, if you look up them fish taxes, he was telling the brothers to go pay the taxes with the fish. If you look that up, it's an ancient law of Greece, and they paid the tax with, listen, a silver coin. Go look it up. It's a silver coin. That's how you pay your taxes. That was in the biblical days.
And that's the one that had the hair as well, the coin that had the nappy hair on it.
Okay, there you go. That's right, because the Etruscans were black. And y'all, check this out. She said Meyer Franklin, Bev. Listen, Beverly, we got Frankie, Beverly, and this amazing sister, Bev. Where that golden time of day at, Beverly?
Right.
Time of day. I like how she started off with the football game with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all know they were showing us the Wizard of Oz, right? Yep, Dorothy, click your silver heels and follow the yellow brick road. They put it right in our face, and the Philadelphia Eagles is green and silver, and the Kansas City Chiefs is red and gold. They put it right in our face. They put it right in our face. Every time Brother Eddie talk about the number 5. The 5 is a phi ratio, which gives you a golden ratio. It ain't nothing but gold and silver. And it's in our favor. They had the quartz crystal and gem show, the largest one in the world, and on the same day that the Super Bowl started. So, man, hey, like the stylistic say, let's put it all together. I love y'all. Peace.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for that.
That was beautiful.
Now, also, Dr. Pruitt, you're dealing with what is those XRPs?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you kind of give us some information on that? The crypto.
So I would yield the floor on that because I have friends that are into it and other YouTubers that are part of my colleagues. So I let them speak on it because I'm still learning about it. I do have just a little bit. But my son is an economist. He always says, "Mom, don't invest in something until you fully understand it." So that's why I only have a little bit of it. I'm still learning.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So where else you want? Where else you want to take us, Doctor? You a wealth of information.
Thank you so much, sister. I would just say that where we're going to now, we're going to a whole new golden era where not only are we ascending in Christ consciousness, we talked about the crown. So our crown chakra is being activated. We're ascending to a high level of consciousness, or what they call Christ consciousness, or Christos consciousness, Hare Krishna, Christ. They're all the ascended masters that the ancients have in their script talked to us about. That's the era into which we are going. We are going into an era of love, joy, peace, higher consciousness, wealth, good health. We even have technologies right now that's being released that will allow us to reverse an age. They will cure us. They can detect any ailments in our bodies and cure us. So my point is we're ascending to that point. And so what I feel that the Creator, the Source is asking of us right now is to purify our hearts. Get ready. Get ready right now. You know, every religion has talked to us about love, perfection, you know, living a righteous life, and righteous might be up for, you know, debate, or people decide what's righteous, but in your heart you know what that is. So we're going to a whole new era, and so I would say get ready. Make sure your heart is ready. If you have any oughts or issue against anybody, go to that person, because often we always say forgive others, and yes, forgive people that have offended you. Please. The scripture says if you know that somebody has offended you, then you're supposed to go and rectify it. The next step of that a lot of us, you know, may sometimes overlook or forget is that now it's also up to us to go and ask for forgiveness. If we have done something to hurt somebody, if we have done something to cause them to stumble, or even if you don't feel that you're at fault, the scripture says, suffer yourself to be defrauded. Sometimes you have to take the L, or, you know, be what they would say the bigger person, or at least to sit down and come to the table and ask why is there an issue between us? And listen to them fully. Give them all your attention with an open posture, not with your arms crossed and being angry and your legs crossed. I'm talking to Dr. Kia, too. I've had to do this. I'm still doing it.
Yes, yeah, we are. Yes, we must.
And get our hearts right, because, look, this is a time where if your heart is, and people have a hard time receiving this part of the message, if your heart is not right, if you have evil in your heart, you will not go, period, in my humble opinion, to the highest state of consciousness.
Yes.
You will be left down in a whole nother, that maybe we can call it 3D. I know some people call it the lake of fire. I call it the third dimension. This is hell to me, of what many of us have gone through. But then there are a lot of us who are ascending to 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and higher dimensions. Some of us are living there right now because we have done the work. We've asked for forgiveness. We're forgiving others, and we are making sure our heart is cultivated in love. So that's what I would ask people to do. As somebody said earlier today, weigh your heart on the scales of Ma'at. I know the ancients are going to do that and the ancestors are going to do that, but you also do it right now. Ask yourself, if my heart was put on the scales of Ma'at, would it be light as a feather? If there's any hatred, anger, pain, bitterness, any of that in your heart, then it's not light as a feather. Let's get it together now so that we can be ready when this new energy comes and we ascend to the highest state of consciousness. And that's
all right. Okay.
May I ask a question, please?
Go ahead. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Dr. Pruitt.
Yes.
One of the things that I have been practicing and teaching here for years in the assistance of people who have been offended by the so-called public servants, you know, police and police and different agencies, etc.
Mm-hmm.
If you study to show thyself approved, you'll know that the CIA and the FBI are not a part of the United States government, or they are affiliated only with the corporation. They are not funded by taxpayer money in any way. It's all off the books. And so, yeah, that's what you have to know. And then if you walk into the CIA building, you're going to see a star sitting in the middle of the floor, but if you chop that down to a small square, you're going to see a swastika. And that's because Reinhard Gehlen, who was Hitler's East Front security officer, he and Wild Bill Donovan of the OSS, they're the ones who set up the CIA and the NSA. And then you have all that set up by the Nazis. You got to understand, this is not some talk, folks. This is documented. Anybody can find this out. You can go to YouTube and listen to Annie Jacobson. She lays it out about DARPA. She lays it out about Operation Paperclip. I mean, when you see that 65-slide presentation, you will know exactly what we're in right now today, because that's what was instituted here in this land from 1944 before the war was over. And that's what we need to know, folks. So I pray that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, when you say, hey, go ahead, Eric.
Well, just hold your thought, Beverly, and hold your thought, Dr. Pruitt. I'm going to ask you this question after Beverly. Please answer. Could you please explain to us about this every 7 year? They cancel debt every 7 years and the Jubilee. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Who did you want to speak?
You.
Dr. Pruitt.
So the Shemitah means release or let go. And so what happened is, in the Hebrew tradition, we know that when the children of Israel were in bondage in Egypt, they then had to come through the wilderness and make it cross over to the promised land. Once they got into the promised land, Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, told them to count 7 years. And at the end of a 7-year cycle would be the release, or Shemitah. So during that time, you count 7 years, and on that exact 7th year, you were supposed to release all the people from their debt. You're supposed to cancel their debt, cancel anything that they owed you, and it was a form of a jubilee. So you let them go. And so what happened, though, under these nefarious people that overtook the republic, because a lot of people would say we are actually the Hebrews, especially when you look at the ancient map and you see on the ancient map that Israel is here, Egypt is here, all these countries that are out there were named after what's going on in America. So the ancient map, I do have a copy of that. I can send that to somebody.
All over here.
All over here. Mm-hmm. So that was a part of our culture to release or let them go at the end of the 7th year. But the nefarious entities that took over our culture, took over our government, decided that at the end of every 7th year cycle to actually cause a financial collapse.
Yep.
Cause like a stock market crash, a financial collapse, housing market crash, and you can actually go all the way back to when the children of Israel came out of Egypt and count 7 years, and at every 7th year there was some type of financial crisis or crisis that caused the people to be further enslaved, to be traumatized, and to emit psychic energy called loosh. And the reason why they did that is they caused trauma to us so that we can emit this energy, because the nefarious beings in power actually eat that energy. It feeds them like food. Right?
Yep.
So sometimes it looks like, well, we don't want to go that far back because it's kind of far. So let's look at so if we work backwards, because we're in a Shemitah year right now, the 7th year. If you go back to around the Great Depression, that was the end of a 7th year cycle. Mm-hmm. And then 7 years from there was another financial collapse. 7 years from there, all the way up to, let's say most people know about 2001. We know what happened in 2001. That's 9/11, when we had, the towers imploded. We had a great financial collapse that time. And then 7 years later, we had 2008 with the housing market crash and some financial trauma there. 2015, the same thing happened. And now we're in the Shemitah, the end of another 7-year cycle that actually started around the end of Elul. Elul is the Hebrew month, the last month going into the, Rosh Hashanah, which is the beginning of the year. So let's say around September 25th, 2022 was the 7th year cycle that we're living in right now. So between September 15, 2022 and September 15, 2023 is a Shemitah cycle. So we know from studying history there is going to be a stock market crash this year.
It's already happened. It's already happened. It's just that it's not being announced because of the panic it would cause, as it caused in the 20s, in 28, when Noble Drew Ali was seen in front of a delegation of indigenous folks in Havana, Cuba, at the OAS meeting, and he was given the mandate to all the land from Argentina to Alaska, and the OAS secretary and the senator who was with him reported this back to D.C. and to Wall Street, and that crashed the economy. That was what caused the crash. They could no longer loan money out on land they did not own. And see, this is why we have to have financial literacy. If we don't learn financial literacy, we're never going to get out of this, because, I mean, it's real. Actually, it's real simple, but it's not easy. It's just simple. Once you start learning the principles that the thing is under, and then again, what remedies are available to us in case some issue comes up and you are charged with something out of the ordinary, and how do you respond to such a thing? Well, I've been doing this for some 30 years. What do you know about the Administrative Procedures Act?
What's it called?
Administrative Procedures Act, 1946.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Since the gold and silver coin were taken from us, they had to give us a remedy, and this was happened post World War II, while people were trying to recover from the war. They instituted and passed this Administrative Procedures Act, which is the way that you hold them accountable, those people that we claim are our public servants. See, and we always hear this talk about accountability, and so how do you hold them accountable? Well, what I learned over the last 30 years, and has been very successful for me and for others, I've seen thousands of people have used this, literally. I was taught by some female group in Orange County who taught me this whole process of Administrative Procedures Act, which does the question to them who's messing with you. May I see your papers, sir? Could I see your identification and credentials so I know who I'm dealing with? That's your duty to do, by the way. And so once you do that, then you bill them at the same time, because they're supposed to be public servants, not, harassing you and messing with you. So you bill them a certain amount of per day to when they're supposed to return and give you the information you're requesting. Now, this is a Supreme Court case that we have in our favor. It's called Gardner versus Broderick, 1968, Supreme Court. What was the decision there? Against the New York police. And the New York police had been sitting on thousands of complaints, of course, mostly by us and people of Coppertone, and so the court saw this and said, and the decision was, anytime you as a public servant receive any presentment from the public, you have 72 hours within which to respond. Period. That was the decision of the Supreme Court. That's in our favor, folks. That's what we use on them to make them prove up who they are, rather than they get you the other way around, you see. And that's where we can win. Time after time we won. The cops don't show up in the court. The charges are dropped or dismissed as what they call per 1385A California Penal Code in the furtherance of justice. So these are the kinds of things that we can do, and if we don't do these kinds of things, for example, on those police that killed Mr. What was his name in Memphis, he was. I mean, there's no way in the world you're going to tell me that no 5 brothers jumped this brother out of his car and beat him to death because they were police and they didn't like him or whatever. Whatever flimsy reason you can throw out, when it was in fact his going with or dating or whatever he was doing with one of theirs ex-wives. And so, because that was an ass-whipping gang attack. That's all that was. You know, it was a straight-out gang attack.
We don't even really know what happened with that. Some people are saying that they wasn't police officers, you know, that it was a psyop thing.
The payroll. So, they weren't on the payroll. That's true.
Let me open another. I have another hand that's raised here.
All right.
404-453.
Okay, Yehuda, family. Since y'all talking about gold, when they used to lie all our ancestors on Wall Street to sell one of our people, guess how they had to prove that the sale was good in gold? They had the slave, the prisoner wall that they were selling. Said, let's see if that gold real. They had why our people say bite the coin to prove that it's real gold. That's how you come up with Bitcoin, y'all. Ain't shit changed, man. Our ancestors bite the fucking coin to see that sale is good, man. And it's all in the temple, y'all. Y'all keep talking about it hard. It's the temple, man. So right now, we got to move up. Only way you move up is get them serpents out your temple. I'm about to come. Stop letting them fuck your mind, your temple. They fucking our temple, man. This is the last resort. Move your temple up. I'm going to leave like that, Sister Bell. You know, I just had to throw a little something at y'all. But Bitcoin, nothing changed, y'all. That's where they got Bitcoin from us. Peace out. Love y'all.
All right, General.
That's the general. Hey, tell him, General.
Hey, we got to be like the Jeffersons, moving on up, man. Like you say, moving on up, man. Get these snakes, them serpents out your temple, man. That's the last thing, and get them snakes out the temple, man. Peace out.
Come on, brother. That's right. And we have the weapon to do it with, too. And it ain't nothing but 2 letters. You can get them erased in 2 simple letters sent to them by the notary and the Secretary of State, and their ass is yours. And that's what we got to learn how to do on all these creatures messing with us and trying to charge us and all this kind of stuff and jailing our young people and putting bonds on them for the rest of their days. They don't know that they're being bonded like slaves. You see, so the days of enslavement are still on, folks. You got to understand what they're doing. You know, the insurance rackets are financing and helping to finance all of this prison building and all of this incarcerating of our young people. So, you know, go get the information. It's there.
Right.
Well, and Dr. Pruitt, so when do your show come on? How can people find you and know where you're at?
You could go to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's at Dr. Kia Pruitt. You can just type in DR period, abbreviation for doctor, DR period KIA, and my last name is Pruitt on YouTube. And I usually do at least a morning show. I haven't been completely consistent, but I try to do one every day around 11 o'clock, and then sometimes I'll do another one in the evenings. But you can hit the notification bell, so whenever I go live or whenever I upload a video, you'll be notified that I'm on the air, so to speak. So I'm on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter. You can either type in Dr. Kia Pruitt on Twitter, or my moniker, my name there is Sister Counselor. You can do the @ Sister Counselor. I'm also on Facebook as Dr. Kia Pruitt. You can find me on Rumble, Dr. Kia Pruitt. What else? Telegram, Dr. Kia Pruitt, and Truth Social, Dr. Kia Pruitt.
Yep.
And you're also an author? You have books out?
I have one book that I wrote, maybe about 12 years ago. It's called Become the Person You Wish to Attract. So I wrote it right before I completed my doctorate. I need to go ahead and rewrite that and update it. But what it basically talks about is how if you desire a mate, in order to align with or attract a certain high-level person, you have to be that person. And so I go through how you can heal from different traumas, what type of things you can do to position yourself to attract a very healthy mate. So that's the only book I've written. I used to write for the San Francisco Examiner and the Sacramento Examiner, which was an online publication, but they're no longer existing now.
Mm-hmm. So can you give us like just a beginning or how to attract? Because if you can attract a mate, you can attract anything.
Yep.
The finances and everything. So can you kind of just give us a little bit of that, of your book?
Absolutely. So what I talk about in the book is anything that's not healthy, you have to take that out of your being, and it first starts in your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind, that part of your brain that is not conscious and not necessarily aware, well, we don't think it's aware, but your subconscious mind controls 90 to 95% of your behavior. So all of those programming that's in your mind, all of those indoctrinations, if they're unhealthy, you need to remove them. And the best way to remove them, actually, in my humble opinion, is to distance yourself away from everything that's unhealthy, whether it's unhealthy people, unhealthy music, unhealthy television programming, even if it's so-called spiritual systems or religious systems that have kept you captivated or not free, or kept you bound, you need to let those go, take them out, and replace them with healthy programming, listen to healthy music that's going to raise your vibrations, music that's going to give you joy. Only watch things or put things before your eyes that's going to bring you joy or peace. Only surround yourself with healthy, strong people that's going to bring you peace. So, in other words, get rid of everything that's not to your highest good and replace it with those things that are in alignment with your highest good. So for me, that meant I actually had to leave, and that's not for everybody. I left organized religion, at least the one I was a part of, because it was focused on you're not worthy, you're filthy rags, and that type of programming was not for my highest good. It didn't feel good in my soul. So I left that programming, and I decided to instead read books that were going to raise my consciousness and my vibrations and spend time in nature because God created nature. That healed me and made me feel better. I had to leave the place where I was working because it was so toxic, and the people just vibrations weren't high. So I left and started my own business.
Mm-hmm.
So I did whatever brought me joy. I did it, and do it as often as possible.
There you go.
But again, turn off that.
That's what I meant by cleanse your temple. That's your temple. That's what you just said. Yep. You got the snakes out your temple. That's what I was talking about. You got it.
Mm-hmm. And let me say that's the way she presents on her channel, my folks. She presents such a goddess presentment that was just so awesome. And all the ones that I've seen, she's one of my favorite online people of all time. She really gets out clear and simple, and we're so appreciative. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's my great pleasure. Thank you.
And so,
one of the things I did to change my subconscious mind. That's a part of your mind that makes decisions without, you actively thinking about it. It's automatic. But one of those ways I got rid of that programming. You're not good enough, you're not worthy, or whatever programming, I'm eating unhealthily because I was eating unhealthily because I didn't feel good about myself because of the programming, subconscious mind telling me to do certain things. But one of the ways that I replaced that programming was to actually record my own voice telling me how awesome I am, how beautiful I am, how I am magnificent. I'm made in in the image of the Creator. I'm perfect. I'm loved. I literally record my own voice saying those things so that those things can go into my subconscious mind. And then finally, the scripture says, whatsoever things are lovely. I don't know if you all know that scripture. Let me see if I can find it. Whatsoever things are lovely. Let me just look it up. It talks about how the things that are lovely, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is of a good report, if there be any virtue or anything that's praiseworthy, think on those things. Focus on honesty, love, joy, purity, good things, virtue, and that will become a part of you. And
love,
that
truth, freedom, and justice.
What'd you say?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
I love that. That's our, yes. When you focus on those things and those things become a part of you, you will attract that in a mate. And let me talk to the women for a second. When you start to tell yourself that men are wonderful, because God knows they are. Oh, my God, I just love men. When you tell yourself that men are wonderful, that men are powerful, they're gorgeous, they're handsome, they provide discipline, they provide structure, they build foundations. These men have built infrastructures that have made us so comfortable that now we can talk about how much we can't stand them because we've gotten that comfortable. They provide so much protection with police and military and all. Now we can say, I don't need a husband. So we've gotten so comfortable because of what men have done for us that we've gotten cocky. But if we, get rid of those and start saying, oh, men are beautiful, men are amazing, men are wonderful, men are great, men are lovely, I need a man, I want a man, I desire a man. When you start talking like that,
serve a man.
The men will come. Do you know that if a man, if he knows you need him, he will go through the ends of the earth to do whatever you need. You got to first say, I need him, and really, because you do need a man, because a lot of us wouldn't be working for a man. We'll obey the man at the job, and we'll build up another man's kingdom, but we won't submit to a man in the house. We'll go and ask Daddy, the government, to give us Section 8 and give us welfare and food stamps and stimulus checks, but you can't submit to the man that wants to make you his wife and provide and protect you. But when you change your attitude and tap into your femininity, listen, men don't care about your degrees. I got 5 of them. They don't care. Men are not impressed by your degrees. They're not impressed by how much money you make. So stop saying I'm a boss chick, I'm a baddie. Men don't care about none of that. It's not impressive. They don't care about how aggressive you are, how you can do it on your own. I'm independent. None of that. What men desire is a soft, feminine woman who's in touch with her femininity, her nurturing capabilities, her loveliness, her softness. That essence will cause the masculinity in a man to raise up an exponential power that you couldn't even imagine. That
come on, tell it.
Yes, ma'am. We're gonna get that Holy Ghost up in here.
A man is inspired by a soft, feminine woman. A man is inspired by softness, by a woman that needs him, by a woman who appreciates him, loves him, and can follow his leadership, because that's something that God gave men. And this is a problem with our community, is that we were raised in mother-led households. Now, I know I want to bring back the matriarch, but I want to do it in a way where we, like the brother said earlier, in balance with the men. When a woman grows up in a female-headed household without the man, she doesn't know how to deal with the man's voice. She perceives his direction and his words as an attack, because she doesn't know how to deal with a man's voice. Men don't have time to be concerned about your emotions. God has created them to build, to sharpen you, to provide discipline, to provide structure, and to bring solutions. So when we yield to that and we learn how to work, this is just Dr. Kia Pruitt talking, synergistically with a man, baby, the man will do anything for you. So how can you attract a man? Yes, you have to be the loving person that you want to see in a man. You have to be healthy and be whole. Additionally, be soft. Don't be masculine. He's not attracted to masculinity. He's attracted to the opposite, femininity. Be his peace, because he goes to war every day dealing with the man and all these negative energies that he's fighting against every day. Now, a lot of us women, that we don't realize how much they have to deal with, but we will go out there and try to be the man and deal with all those negative energies, and then we become very sick. And that's why we got all this trauma, and we have all these tumors and all this female issues, because we're trying to be men out here dealing with war and negative energies and dealing with other men and these corporate entities, corporations, building up their kingdom instead of submitting to the man that God gave you.
All right.
Man. Broke it down. No talk rap. Just talk kissing.
If you ain't feel that, you not alive. She really put that energy out there. The truth.
Yes, ma'am.
But they say the truth will set you free.
It will set you
free. And that's
free.
for sure.
The truth will make you free.
They have set us up to try to behave like men, and this whole sexual freedom, sexual revolution that a lot of the women have jumped in, don't shame me, don't slut shame me, I can do whatever I want to do, I can sleep with whoever I want. Mm-hmm. Now we got all these negative energies all up in our body, in our womb, and that's why we're doing yoni steams and female retreats. We don't want to be humble and submit and just be honest and say, I've run out here and been worldly and lived against my feminine nature, because you can't just let all this energy up in your body and think it's not going to affect you. You can't be like a man. I'm sorry. I don't understand why we want to be equal. We're not equal. We're powerful in our own right. We're goddesses. We bring forth life. That's amazing in itself.
That's more than we. That's much more than we. Man.
I'll let you say that.
Well, that's the truth.
Yes,
we'll make you free.
Yes, sir. So, be the person you want to attract, and also ask, if you want to attract a good man, if God brings one to you, ask him, because this is something a lot of women don't do. What is it that you need? What is it that you want? What do you desire? Oftentimes we just give men, you're going to just take me how I am. You're going to take me and my kids that I have by another man. It is unnatural for a man to raise another man's seed. Now, he will do it, and I will bow down to that man. God bless y'all. But if you think that's natural, then you haven't seen how it really operates in the wild. A lion will kill another man's seed. So for a man to step up, deal with you that's not a virgin, that had a whole bunch of sex partners, and bringing some children to the table, you ought to be worshiping that man, because it's not natural.
Been there, done that.
I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but we've gotten really arrogant as women. We need our men. We do. And they need us, yes. But I've never heard a man say, I don't need a woman. Not until lately, when they had to deal with all this negativity and aggression. And still they won't say, I don't need a woman. They'll say, you know what, I'll get my passport and I'll go deal with, a woman that's been trained how to be a wife, rather than deal with these aggressive women that try to be a man and usurp power and authority from a man. I don't know. That's just that I have a whole nother channel where I talk about that. I haven't grown that channel because women really attack me when I talk about femininity and how it attracts men and how we can work together with our men to restore our families. But I am going to grow that channel because we need our men.
We need that now.
All you're going to do is look at our children.
Yep. Come on. Y'all are the nurturers. Y'all are the teachers. That's it.
Yes, sir.
tired
we must
of the change.
Also, we must be aware of the fact that a lot of our hormone structures have been altered by Monsanto and the seeds and the chemicals they're putting in our food and in our water. So we need to understand that this is all part of the attack on humanity, and particularly the original people, the first man and the first woman, and they've done this to our women in many cases and our men. That's why we have so much homosexuality going around. It's because we're being fed this stuff through our systems. Tariq, you know that Dick Gregory and I used to deal with this years ago, and we understand that is part of the problem. And if we're going to deal with the problem, we got to deal with the cause.
Right.
So, also in the chemtrails, y'all, they came out in 1979 with some gay straight. That Dick Gregory was right. They got that shit in the chemtrails that make people gay. I got the patent number for that.
Oh, come on, bro.
143909. That shit make your ass gay in the chemtrail, man. I'm telling y'all, stay the fucking front of that shit, man.
Folks, I got a whole array of photos, and videos that I've taken of the skies here in Los Angeles, where we are being bombarded every other third day. Now we're getting rained upon with the storm, and then they'll come back with the chemtrails again to bring the storm again. And so I've been teaching people about this for many years, that we must know what is coming down upon us and prepare ourselves to detox from that. And that means at least once a month you should drink lemon juice and water and a little cayenne pepper and a little maple syrup, 3 quarts a day for 3 days, and no eating, and flush that stuff out of you. There's other recipes to get out the dioxin, the other poisons that have been dumped upon the whole country through this so-called controlled burning in Ohio that Mr. Buttigieg, what is his name? He's the transportation secretary. Yeah.
Right. And also Dr. Lee got a spectral analyzer. Okay, you want to map out the country. So if you go to take a picture of your sky and your ground, and send that to mail@drarlene.com. You got to spell doctor all the way out, and tell him your city and your state, and he will look at that part and tell you what's in the sky and on the ground, man. I mean, this ain't no joke. You want to map out the whole country.
Wow, bro. What we've done in the past is ask the people to call their representative and demand an answer to the chemtrails, which some of those have been going on since 1974.
That's right.
Spraying us, and we said that if we're going to deal with it, we have to go to the source. We have to go to the cause of this, and they know. If they don't know, they should know. And then we've asked people to use, if you're going to use that system, if you're going to vote in that system, then you can use the recall to get them out of our office. But in order to do that, we need to be organized in our community to educate and raise our young people to know these things. And that will be up to us to do that. We must teach them early, because the system has dumbed us all down, and we don't even know what's happening. We have no idea why we have the problems we have, and there are answers.
We do. We're finding out every day, bro, Ray. We are finding out. I've been watching, because this is so-called Black History Month. We're showing all kinds of great documentaries on PBS, showing us that we're not just sitting around waiting on nobody. Every major city in the country is going through major changes in our communities there. Our people are raising themselves up. They're doing things just like we were given instructions and attempted to do things back in the 70s and 80s with the Black Panther Party and so forth, the 10-point platform and program, which should be a model for any organization today, because it's the way to get our young people and get our young people taught the correct ways, the correct stories, et cetera, and I've been a part of this since the 70s. I've been involved internationally with the party. I was in Algiers with them in 1969 at the Second Pan-African Cultural Festival, where they were the so-called Afro-American Cultural Center heads, and Eldridge and Kathleen and Bobby and Emory Douglas, et cetera, were all there. And we met with them there and saw so many great things about our story and learned so many great things. So, we have a great story, folks. I have incredible information I'm putting together that I pray I'll be able to get support for and to get it out, proving of a number of things, documenting our story here on the West Coast, our Chumash history, for example. We, the Chumash on the West Coast here, have been in charge economically from Santa Barbara to Baja California until the No Hispanics came. And once the No Hispanics came with their Catholics and put their Catholics on us and destroyed our cultures, that's how they got in control. And so they did it through destroying the colon of our people by changing their food intake and causing them to be starving and malnourished, etc. So yeah, that's the story, folks.
Well, one of the things we did here in Dade County in Florida, Miami, we went to the Dade County Commission and demanded that they give a report and to take out the fluoride and the poisons that are in the water supply. And we said to them then, and we'll say it again, if Multipure and other water purifying companies can do it, why cannot the federal government or the state governments do it with the systems that we have in our reservoirs? And they did. They did give us the report, and there were so many chemicals in the water. Brother Tariq, we talked about this, and one of the chemicals that were in the water changed your hormone structure. And we discussed it. So yes, there are a lot of things that we can do, and it does not take a lot to do it. You get 10 people to go down and demand the truth, and we just have to hold these people accountable who say they represent us. So you're absolutely right, Tariq.
Yeah, the plastics are all in the water.
Down to time.
Oh, we're getting close. Okay.
We had 2 minutes left, and
oh, really?
Dr. Kia Pruitt. I mean, it was a pleasure. Everybody enjoyed you, and we look forward to have you to join us again, and you keep up the good work that you're doing.
Yes, thank you.
And yes, get your show together to talk to the women, because it's kind of, even with the chemicals, and it's like people walking around, hypnotized. And with your conversation and your energy, that is kind of like waking them up out of a hypnotic state. And so that's what's needed. It's very powerful. So I thank you for the work that you're doing. And thank you for joining us tonight. And we'll look forward to
and I would love to have you and the elders to come on my show. I would love for you and the elders to come on the show.
I know the elders would be good. I'll connect you with the elders. I'll give you their information.
Thank you so much.
So they got a lot of information to give. Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Pruitt, and thank the Mound Table for joining us. And better love, everyone. Better love.
Better love on the sound table. I love it.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Who we going out with? Nina?
I'm sorry. I forgot you like me. You like Nina. I gotta find her.